I do. I had it in here. Although sometimes I get people ordering rides for someone else, right? So, much an unusual thing in my Uber. I get my riders to sing for me opera while I drive them. So, it's fairly early, but do you want to warm up your voice first?
Sure.
Just kidding. Can you imagine? Putting you on the spot.
Almost on like a reality TV show for a second.
But no, along those lines, I do a live stream. Just because I do like sharing my experiences with amazing conversations and riders. But I just wanted you to know so you don't say anything that you were like, oh, I don't want to expose that or talk about that per se.
No problem.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool, I think.
Oh, thank you. What makes it cool for you?
Oh, well, I've always wanted to like do live streams or become like a content creator,
Yes.
but I feel like I don't really do anything cool enough that would be worth streaming.
I see.
And then, seeing other people's content, it's like, oh, that's, it's cool seeing other people's content, what they come up with.
Yeah.
And then you streaming your Uber drivers, your Uber rides, and just based off your conversations, that's a pretty cool idea, honestly.
Thank you. It's pretty intense. Well, you were saying you don't know if you found that thing that makes you unique or interesting enough yet.
Yeah.
I think there's so many people who feel very ordinary and they're like, I got nothing to say or contribute that people would find interesting. And one of the things I love doing is proving them wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like proving them wrong because I think we all have a story. Now, it might be that we're still trying to figure out maybe like what we're supposed to be doing in this world or what brings us value or what our passions are. So that's one exploration. But even before finding that, I think you already have a story. For example, if I were to ask you, I'm going to ask you like randomly, tell me maybe if you would. Now this is, when I'm asking for things, I often understand or experience this kind of exchange where it's like, I don't suffer for small talk.
Yeah.
I have great conversations, but I think that one of the keys for me in having great conversations with people is there's something that happens in the way that we connect where you're trying to figure out what this person is asking for, can they afford it? Which is an interesting way of thinking of it. And another way to say it is, do you trust my intentions when I ask for things? Or is it that I'm asking for things that will put you at a deficit? Like am I trying to make entertainment at your expense, for example? Am I trying to tell your story so I can exploit you? Or is there like real intentions on the other side that are they make you feel like, okay, I want to go along with this and I want to get to know this person more, kind of thing. So that's kind of like how I understand it. So remember that you can always say no as well. So if I were to ask you a scary question is like a calculated risk for me. I'll be asking you something that tells me a bit more about you. So maybe like my interest would be something like, if you feel comfortable, I'd love to know maybe what's one of the biggest lessons, painful lessons you've had in life that you've never forgotten and you're like, because I went through this, I believe this now, or I live this way, or something like that. What would that be for you?
It's fine, it would take a second to think.
Absolutely. And remember, you can also say, next question. Because consent is also really important. Yeah. Of course, we were preparing for this kind of a morning, right?
Honestly, I'd say one of the bigger lessons, definitely more in the recent years,
Yeah.
is... Sorry.
That's okay.
I had to clear my throat there.
That's
But
alright.
just letting people grow up
Yeah.
and not expecting them to always be the perfect version of themselves or what you expect them to be. And sometimes you just need to step back and let them do their thing and not kind of like force a relationship there. And that in many sense, like from my personal view, well, obviously through friends, through partners and whatnot.
Sure.
But even through family.
Yeah.
Like I've had many experiences where it's like family kind of expects something of you
Yeah.
or act in a certain way, and that's not, like as I was saying, like you kind of have to let them realize. For me, it's for my dad, right? Like even when I grew up and moved out and everything, he still treated me as if I was a kid or still like living under his household.
Sure.
So I had to like step back and kind of give him some space to let him realize, hey, I'm an adult now. I've grown up. I moved on. I moved not just I moved up, I moved out.
Yeah.
And just give him that space to grow up and realize that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
grow into it, I guess.
That is brilliant. I love that. It took me decades to learn that. So, may I ask how old you are?
I'm 20. 21 actually. I just turned
21. Oh man, well, happy belated.
Thank you.
In December or?
Yeah,
No.
3 days ago.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
The 1st of December.
Um,
Or 30th of November.
It was the 27th of November.
There we are. Okay.
So it was
if-
like 5 days.
yeah, 6 days.
I
That's
don't count the
amazing.
weekends.
That's awesome. Just weekdays count, right? In your
Yeah.
economy.
Only business days.
I appreciate that. That's like a really big lesson because the way I learned it, it was more challenging and maybe painful. So the way I calibrated with that same lesson was, I think when I connected with people, I kind of, when I was interested, I saw them in a certain point in time. I'm like, oh, I like this person based on this present moment, how they are.
Yeah.
But what I forgot to account for was that we change over time, right? And if we change over time, like I should be making space for people to change even as I change as well.
Yeah.
And so because I didn't do that, when they changed, I was like, no, I wanted the previous version that I got to know. And you weren't. And so like it took me a while to figure out, oh yeah, I should give them this courtesy where we're always a constant process of change, right? And so what does that look like to be able to honor someone in that space where they're like, hey, we evolve over the time. So yeah, that's a really great response. I appreciate that. One of the things I'm practicing, my friends always hold me to task. They're like, Biniam, they say you always ask great questions, but you never like answer any questions. So like, I'm learning to also like give the same courtesy. So if you were to express the curiosity about me, what would you be inclined to ask? And try to apply the same thing where you're like, ooh, this has got kind of a gutsy question to ask, but I'm gonna ask it and see like what the response is.
Yeah. Well, mine's kind of basic, but
Yes.
it does interest me. Would be just what motivated you to start live streaming or take that leap to start live streaming?
Love it. It's fairly recent. It took me months in preparation because I like to like process things before I embark on them, just to make sure I'm covering the bases. And so to that end, I've been making videos for a few years now in relation to my experience as an Uber driver. And it's been fantastic. It's been so good. A huge part that I really want to model, even as I do my content creation, is what does consent look like? So I never post any of my videos unless I have enthusiastic consent from my riders, where they're like, yeah. And I love encouraging a no answer because, again, culturally, I don't think we do a good job saying that. So I know how to suss that out too. I would probably say 80% of the rides that I've had, I don't even bother asking for permission because the conversation was just so meaningful and intimate and vulnerable. And I'm like, this person talked about some really personal things that I don't think the world has any business knowing, so I'm going to keep this one here private. So I wouldn't even ask them percent, right? But then a thought occurred to me along the way where I was like, it'd be really cool not only to present pre-recorded videos, but what would it be like for me to model for my followers and those I have influence with? What would it look like for me to model for them in real time how I engage in so many different facets? For example, what does it look like when a rider says no? And no one ever saw that because all they ever see is the yeses, right? What would that look like when I ask for consent and they say no, for example? What would it look like when I am embarking in the way I often do? Like, I'm only presenting certain themes of stories on my account, but what would it look like to have even more cross experience in showing them how these connections evolve, right? Especially when it does, like, honestly, like the way I tell my audience is, I have no idea what I'm walking into. I don't know what kind of state you're in, what kind of day you've had. Like, there's so many varieties of factors, right? But can I model in some way what it could look like or feel like to do what I do in expressing genuine interest in someone that is also respectful, that is intentional, and that is also deep. And the sky's the limit. We're not choreographing this conversation, for example, right? But I just wanted to capture that skill so that I could encourage and inspire my others who are also likewise resonating with the theme of why I do what I do, to be able to say, here's what it could look like, and here's how you could, maybe in watching and observing what I do, take whatever works for you and practice it in your own life. So that's why I said, let me try and think through how I can do live streaming in the moment so that everything's captured as we go.
Yeah.
And then, in so doing, like one of the biggest challenges for me in live streaming is, but how do I account for the factor of consent? Because once we're live streaming, we're already online kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I safeguard your privacy so you're not on camera? For example, right now it's just me, right? What our voices are. How do I let you know, hey, this is what's going on, just so you can have that option to say, I'm not comfortable. And then how can my audience see how I respond to a no? Because oftentimes when we hear no, culturally we feel rejection, right? We feel like we took it personally. Whereas, I've learned a different way of processing that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's a great question. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
Texas ride short is very interesting.
I know. Too bad it's such a short ride, but look at how much we've covered already.
I know.
I feel like I know you so much better. Okay. Last question for you, if I may. Give me your top character, trait that you so highly value, that either you want to grow in, or that you feel that you are looking for yourself personally, saying this is really important for me, even while I strive to be better at it.
I actually kind of have an answer off the top of my head.
I would love to hear it.
Just because.
Yes, you've thought about this.
Yeah.
Love it.
I just recently switched jobs. So I was considering like things for interviews. And
Yeah.
like, what's your biggest strength?
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And I want to say for me is majority of the time.
Yeah.
I'm a very likable person, and that kind of goes in two ways.
Yeah.
Like I get along well with a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what situation you put me in. I
Yeah.
can still thrive.
Yeah.
Because I can get along with whoever I'm working with, whether it's a grumpy person or a
Yeah.
happy person, or
Absolutely.
just a chill person.
Yeah.
And it kind of applies in all aspects of work, hobbies like playing
Yes.
video games,
Yes.
sports,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
or just meeting random people.
Yeah.
I tend to see myself, and a lot of people have told me that I'm a very likable person and
Yeah.
enjoy spending time with me.
Nice.
So I definitely feel like that's one of my biggest character.
So what would you call that character trait?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Being likable.
You likable? Let me think about what you told me. You enjoy being good-natured around people. Now, the follow-up question I'd ask is, how do you avoid being a people pleaser in the midst of that?
Well, one, I definitely don't have a problem saying no.
Excellent. I love that. Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes I'm kind of a little bit bad with it.
Yeah.
It's just I'll say no too much because it'll be like I will be like, oh, I don't really want it. Like I won't
Sure.
go
Out of your way.
far out of my way to do
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just the main one is I don't really have a problem saying no
Nice.
while still being
I love
nice
that.
and enjoyable. To
Yeah. So you are upfront and honest in a cordial way.
Yeah.
I
Definitely
appreciate
upfront
that.
and honest, that
Yeah, that's really cool. So you have access to your, yes, I'm interested versus no, I'm not interested, in a way that most people don't have, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that. Well answered.
Thank you.
I like it. I am really thrilled our path was crossed this morning, Martin.
I am as well.
Thank you for sharing with me as well. And I hope we have the pleasure again, because I appreciate when I meet someone who's young, but has something sort of processed along the way already, and they're like, hey, this is important to me.
Yeah.
This is really
Thank you
good.
again.
My
And,
pleasure, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. May I give you my card? Here,
Yeah,
let me
sure.
give my card so you can. I'm looking forward to sharing this. I mean, it's already on live here, but this is where you can find a lot about what I do.
thank you.
You're welcome, man.
Nice.
Thank you. Have a
Well,
good.
There is a chance if you are still doing these,
Yes.
whatever, the pre-scheduled rides.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have one tomorrow, same ride.
Oh, brilliant.
So if you happen to get that one,
If it hasn't been claimed already,
If it
I'll
hasn't been claimed already.
happily look for it.
sounds good. Thank you.
My pleasure, Martin.
Have a great day.
You too, man. Thank you,
Now I'm
Martin.
off to work.
Have a good Tuesday.
You as well.
Tuesday. Oh yes. Bye for now.
Bye bye. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Good morning, friends. That was a really encouraging conversation. He was my second rider of the day. The first one, he had young kids, so I didn't want to really feature. I didn't really want to feature a live stream that early in the morning when kids are, grumpy and so on like that. But nonetheless, good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. I'm just going to catch up on the comments in a brief moment here. Let me just pull off to the side here first so that I'm out of the way. Okay, let's have a look here. I see we have a few people already online. Teresa, I think I'm going to ban you because your contributions are not helpful. I don't know what poppers are, Ray. Um, yeah, but Ray, I think we're also going to remove you as well. And who else do we have here? I'm not sure what some of you guys are. And I'm also going to send this person home as well, too. Good morning, friends. Thrilled to have you all on here. I'm having a blast. I'm having such a blast. And it's really cool to be able to have access to the energy source that I have, whereby I can walk back into the chat here and just see when there is a lot of unhelpful and unsavory comments that are being featured. It's just an easy process of saying you're in the wrong space. There's a choice we all have when we step into a certain space, how we're going to carry ourselves. And when one walks into a beautiful space, and all they have to offer intentionally is crap, those who are in that space will say we enjoy our space far too much to tolerate that, and so we show you the door. We show you the door unapologetically because we'll let you enjoy your crappiness in your own zone, and we'll say this is not the space for it. And I love that because it doesn't affect me. I'm still like having a great time, knowing the why behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I am sorry that you're choosing to experience awfulness in life, but that's your decision, and I'm going to let you enjoy that space to yourself, even while I choose to dwell in a space that has such tremendous beauty in it. The space in my mind, the things that I think about, the space in my heart, the things that I feel. I love that it is motivated by such beauty and amazingness, and so I'm so grateful. Who's that in the backseat, guy? That was my Uber rider, and he is one of the amazing people I get to meet. As an Uber driver, I love showcasing the beauty that is in people's stories, the way that we evolve as fellow human beings. I love being able to say we all have stories and we all have something so compelling to contribute in this world that adds such richness to it. And so, yeah, that's one of the reasons I love this job as an Uber driver. That's one of the reasons I love even doing this live stream, is because in so doing, I get to be able to say, look at how epic we can experience life at that level, right? Look at how epic it is when we have that opportunity just by spending a few moments to say, what does life look like from your side? What are the things you value most? And when we ask because we have a genuine interest in connecting with those individuals, golly, I tell you, it's a pretty cool drug. That's my kind of drug. That's the kind of thing that keeps me motivated and saying, let's continue to give and share and inspire and encourage. That's what this place is all about here. So, welcome to those who are in the chat coming in, and I hope that you also derive encouragement from these videos. Because Lord knows we're in a world where there isn't a lot of this kind of thing going on. This doesn't happen by accident. This happens because there has been energy invested into this trajectory. From the moment of we are born as babies, we don't turn out to be like amazing human beings. I mean, we don't turn out to be amazing in the way that we treat each other. We have to be taught how to extend patience, how to give the benefit of the doubt. We have to be taught how to refrain from jumping to conclusions and how to stop robbing each other of dignity and so on. Like, if we were left to ourselves, we would be terrible to each other. But in the course of our upbringing, we're taught right from wrong, that value system that we subscribe to. And in so doing, it's in that space that we have those opportunities to say, how can I extend good things from me by investing some energy and effort to be able to say to another fellow human being, you're worthwhile. You are worth my while. So friends, you are worth my while. And why I do what I do is because in my economy, if I were to keep all this for myself, I don't know, that would seem like, that'd be, that would be, I would be feeling unfulfilled. I mean, I love what I experience, but I'd like others to come alongside too and experience the same beauty. It's the kind of thing when you get really excited about something, you want to tell someone, right? You want to tell someone and say, hey, listen, this is amazing. You got to try this food. You got to try this restaurant. You got to try this experience. This is epic, you know? So we share experiences because we want others to also join in and enjoy the moment with us. And so hence why I make myself accessible as I do. So that's why I appreciate you guys in the chat and why we show the door to those that are not seeing it. When they don't see it, we'll say, we'll fast track this process for you and help you find wherever that is based on what your interests are. But it's not going to be here, right? So, all right, I got another maybe 50 minutes before my next scheduled ride here. I'm gonna bring this live stream episodes to an end, and I will see maybe in about less than an hour maybe. I'll be back with the next ride here scheduled, maybe sooner if another ride comes in first. So, all right, bye for now.